You're listening to LunaKage and Mr. You Suck's Unnamed Wrestling Podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of LunaKage and Mr. You Suck's Unnamed Wrestling Podcast.
We are back.
Yes, after...
The fog is lifted, the earth is shifted, and raised the gifted. You know I'd be back, so pack your bones and hit the road, Jack, because Daddy's home. Anyone who gets that reference is a friend of mine.
I didn't catch it, but it was eloquent. It's all fuck.
Would you believe it was Kid Rock?
So at first I was like, is this the intro music to Gravedigger the Monster Truck? Because that's what it sounds like right now. But Kid Rock also... Look, quick topical reference. So the Little Caesars Arena is opening up soon.
Yeah.
The opening act is 4 nights of Kid Rock.
Good. Listen.
Wait, no. Not that I disagree with it, because Kid Rock's a very good bet for a Detroit act.
Yes, he is.
But do you think they're going to sell out 4 nights of Kid Rock?
Well, a lot of people like Kid Rock.
But do they like Kid Rock 4 times in a row?
Maybe. That's the fun thing, because like
that's my question.
Because Kid Rock, he really does encompass Detroit like completely. Because like he's got that like Motor City like rock and roll going on. Yeah. But then he's also got like the yo Detroit shit, and he's also got like the fucking we come from the South fucking country going on. Because
for those of you who might not be inside Michigan, Michigan's definitely the South.
Yeah. We are the farthest of north South has ever been.
We are the fucking South up here. Yeah, this is Hickville country redneck
it's
lands.
Amazing. Fucking there are some like black people I know that are still slaves out here. Actually, it's kind of funny.
Jesus.
Hey man, it's been several months. I got to get all this crude humor out of my system and back on the air.
This shock jock radio right here.
So yeah, I guess we kind of owe some explanations because, like, you know, just jumping back into it.
We had I had a very busy schedule and also some pretty rough technical problems with YouTube, where I was not able to process any of the videos uploaded. Yeah. And I've got a workaround for it now. I have no idea why it's doing it, but I at least have an idea how I can probably fix it.
Our last video, which one was that? TLC. Like, you guys got that about a month after it was recorded.
Yeah, and you're going to get this about a month after this pay-per-view was...
Oh, about yeah. But yeah, and we were supposed to meet up last week, but I got sick. And not the kind of sick where it's like, oh, let me work through this. No, I had to call off work. That's not something I ever do.
No.
I'm too broke to be able to call off work.
You're a dedicated man. So, anyways, tonight we will be reviewing the last pay-per-view of 2016, Roadblock: End of the Line.
Yeah.
Now, off the top, was Roadblock anywhere near as good this year as it was last year? No. I don't think so.
Not only do I not remember what happened last year, I forgot what happened this year.
So, if you remember, Roadblock was a, like, Toronto house show.
Yes, that's right.
And it was good.
That was the first Roadblock, wasn't it?
That was the first Roadblock. And it was, like, Enzo and Cass versus Revival, Natty versus Charlotte, I think it was? Or it might have been Natty versus Becky.
No, it was Charlotte.
Okay. And then we had Dean Ambrose versus Triple H in a fucking good match.
Yeah, God, I remember that.
That match was fucking awesome.
Right. Yeah, that Roadblock was great because it was literally just like a little 2-hour schmoz.
It was a little 2-hour house show. There was not very much lights.
Which gave it a really nice little atmosphere. Oh, God,
it felt great. It felt like you were there.
Yeah. Oh, wasn't that? No, that wasn't. That was Beast in the East, wasn't it? Or was Brock Lesnar still there?
No, Beast in the East was the Brock Lesnar one.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, wait. There was a non-match that had Brock Lesnar, because it was Brock Lesnar versus in a handicap match with
Bray Wyatt,
Bray and Luke,
even though Luke was the only one in the match.
Yeah, because Bray was suffering with like an ankle injury or something. So, Like, Brock was really, really going to work the match anyways.
It was the beginning of the question mark for Bray Wyatt.
Oh, God. So this year, Roadblock is a full-fledged pay-per-view.
Yep.
And it is now given the ugly moniker Roadblock End of the Line.
Isn't this a Raw exclusive?
Yes, this is a Raw exclusive one. So our first match for the night is New Day versus Shame Sorrow for the Raw tag belts, and everyone kind of knows what's going on here. Recently on Raw, like in the past week, New Day broke the world tag team records set by Demolition back in like 92 or whatever. So they're like officially like the recordist.
And that's cool as fuck.
It's really cool because
like we all knew it was coming, but like now that it's here, it's like one of those like these guys
that's cemented the legacy.
Pretty much have the biggest accolade you could get as a tag team.
Yeah, and they deserve it because, as I mentioned last year, they were one of the last year. Raw was a desert, with the exception of New Day and John Cena. There was
surprisingly enough.
It was like there was nothing in
unless you liked what was going on with the Shield, and in most cases it was Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So
in most cases you did not like what was going on with the Shield.
Right.
So anyways, they broke the record, so you know they're going to lose this match. But that said, I still thought this match was absolutely fantastic. The bell rings and Cesaro bolts across the mat to standing drop kick Kofi. Cesaro was definitely the highlight reel for this match. Tons and tons of beautiful offense. Even Sheamus looks head and shoulders above what he usually does. They're really...
Because he's tall.
Above what he usually does. He grew another 6 feet. He's now 11 feet 5 inches.
Jesus Christ.
Sheamus is like 6'5" or something. He just doesn't look like it because everyone's 6 something.
Yeah.
They're like also... or, I don't know, some people are billed as being like super stupid big and you just don't realize it. Sheamus does a spot to whiff a clothesline and smoothly follows through to tag to Cesaro. Actually, I don't know why that was in there. That note has no relevance. I should have taken that out in editing. Not to say that New Day were slouching either, because this match had Big E doing his best and safest looking spear tope. It was like the first spear through the ropes where you're like, wow, it didn't look like he was going to die. In fact, that looked completely safe. And everyone,
who did you do it to?
He did it to, like, I think, Sheamus on the outside. It might have been Sheamus and Cesaro.
Maybe. It took 2 of them to...
Yeah, but it was like, he hit him with enough momentum where he didn't follow through into them, and instead he just kind of, like
kind of flopped over the
flopped
ropes.
over. He hit, and then, like, his momentum stops, and he just falls horizontally.
Yeah.
And that's way safer than what we've seen the past year.
Right. I mean, not everybody can fucking stop Big E like that, though.
It's more like the tope Dean does, where he. Oh yeah, you got a terrible cut job as well.
I got a mutant piece too.
We our Little Caesars tonight is just garbage on the cuts. It's totally bad.
Look at it.
I know it's.
There's like 3 pieces.
It's rough. I had to calzone a piece in the car because it was just falling apart.
Hey, it's good though. It's pizza and it's free, so I can't fuck with that.
During a giant swing attempt, Kofi runs interference, but ducks Sheamus's blockage attempt. Sheamus hits Cesaro in air, and Cesaro gets hit with the big ending, but kicks out, and the place goes nuts. Cesaro hits a top rope Frankensteiner FADC giant swing, and Kofi sells the best I've seen anyone sell, because I've talked about this on the show multiple times. I don't like when people cover their head and like tuck their head and just leave their elbows hanging out when taking the giant splash. I get it, but it doesn't sell the move at all.
Yeah.
And so Kofi's in the giant splash, and he's flailing his fucking arms, and it just looks a million times better because of it. Kofi taps to the sharpshooter, but Xavier had distracted the ref. Kofi gets Cesaro in a small package, but Cesaro deadlifts him out of it. It was a little iffy, and puts him in an elevated suplex, then drops him down and lands in the neutralizer, which was like...
Yeah, I remember that.
It was... How many ways can you deadlift presumably 225-pound human being?
Yeah. Fucking a book by Cesaro.
Oh my god, it was...
If he ever makes a book, it should just be called that.
How to lift humans.
101
ways. 101 ways to lift humans. I'll never forget, like, I think it was in, like, the same night on Raw where Ryback did elevated suplex, and they're like, Ryback might be one of the pound-for-pound most strongest men in WWE, and then, like, later is, like, the next night, Cesaro does one for, like, twice as long, and they're like, Cesaro might be the... I'm like, well, way to bury Ryback. Don't have him try that, because Cesaro's got that one on down pat. Anyways, Big E stops the count on the neutralizer. Sheamus starts setting up for the Brogue. Xavier hops in, takes the bullet. Kofi hits Sheamus with an SOS, but Sheamus kicks out. I thought it was cool. I haven't seen SOS in a long time from him.
The SOS actually, surprisingly enough, used to be his finishing move.
That's what I thought.
Like way back when he was just debuting. Mm-hmm. Then eventually they're like, nah, let's just make that a fucking move. That
Kofi's got a couple moves that he doesn't bust out very often. The SOS and the boom drop.
Yeah, the boom drop is an old classic.
Yeah, the boom drop got play like 2 or 3 pay-per-views back. Sheamus goes to tag Cesaro, but purposefully misses, so Cesaro comes flying in, eats a Trouble from Paradise from Kofi, but while Kofi is presumably pinning Cesaro, Sheamus comes in, who is still legal, and small packages him for the belts. The booking of the match was impeccable. Yeah. They basically went through every heel tactic in the book. Yeah. They either outsmarted or outpowered them, and they took a match that the entire crowd knew the ending to ahead of time and made it, like, really interesting and good.
Yeah, and the ending was interesting and good.
Yeah.
Because, like, at first, when you first see the miss, your first thought is like, oh, it's one of these. Mm-hmm. You know, but then he steps in and you're like, oh, is that a botch? You know, did he just fuck up tagging in? But then he eats a finishing move and then Sheamus gets the pin and you're like, oh, so that was smart then.
It was really smart, and you're like, why can't you book like that more often?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they might have been saving that match for a long time, but it was really impressive with all the New Day matches you've had to stall through, that in the end, their last match, everyone was on their fucking game. Yeah. This was probably the best match on the pay-per-view, I'm being honest.
Probably the best match Sheamus has ever had.
Yeah. No, I mean, Sheamus put in work in this match.
He did.
Like, this was a good match for everybody. Post-match, New Day reluctantly hand over the belts, and Sheamus and Cesaro had to have a heel versus face reaction for their win. Really good. Next up is a gimmick match of the gimmickiest degree. Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman. Sami must last 10 minutes to win. So the problem with this match is that the first 6 minutes really sucked.
Yeah.
Really sucked.
I mean, you know.
Yeah. but not even like, there's expected levels of suck, and then there's what actually happens. Sami knows how to sell like a fish out of water, but Braun, like, couldn't keep a worthwhile offense. Like, he just didn't know how. It was literally like just like crappy punches every 30 seconds.
I mean, that's giant man.
He had like a Beal throw at like the minute and a half mark, and then no other like slams for the next 3-4 minutes.
That's the thing, like, fucking The Undertaker and even fucking Kain, right? And, like, I'm more so talking about older Kain, but, like, even nowadays, those two are the greatest, I don't want to say big men, but greatest huge men.
Mm-hmm. Monsters.
Yeah. No one can do it like they can because they know what the fuck to do. Mm-hmm. Like, you put Braun out there, you're like, be a big man. Like, he goes out there, he clubbers on him a little bit, he does a Beal throw, which is the throw that every giant man has.
Yep.
And that's it. And that's like, I don't even know what he could do better, because it's literally just one of those things that you have or you don't. Mm-hmm. And, The Undertaker and Kain, they had it. Well, they still have it, honestly. Like, it's gotten a little slower because they're older, but...
Honestly, they're both extremely talented.
Yeah. Yeah, I would fucking love to be those guys.
Kain is probably one of the wrestlers I respect the most in this world.
Yeah.
It was just really disappointing because you could tell that Braun didn't need much more to get to that level, but he just couldn't hang.
And that's the thing. He's still green too.
Mm-hmm. Like, he's still really green.
He's been doing it for a little bit at this point, but they took away his heater, basically.
Yeah.
Like, when they separated him from Bray Wyatt, it was the worst thing they could have done for Braun Strowman. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't necessarily care about Braun being with Bray, because Bray doesn't need him, but Braun definitely needed Bray.
Yeah.
And without Bray, he's really just kind of like this directionless, like, oh, he's a monster, and like, without that affiliation with the Wyatt family, I really don't see him being anything more than, like, you know, he goes out there, terrorizes people for a while. Eventually, he's going to become, like, a comedy big man jobber, like the Great Khali and shit, you know, and Kozlov. And that's what he's going to be, because he doesn't have... The only reason he was super special when he originally came in, like, was because he was this big-ass dude who came in with the Wyatts.
Yeah.
For the Wyatts, rather. And...
They went nowhere.
Yeah, like, his voice even sounded perfect.
His voice...
For, like, you know...
So the only reason I think that he actually has, like, life is because if they can make him at least a microcosm of good on the mic, he'll be perfect.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he's one of those big dudes whose voice sounds like an imposing big dude voice.
Like, later on in this match, like, eventually what happens is that, like, 4 minutes, Mick Foley comes out and he's like, I'm going to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
And Sammy spends 2 minutes being like, no, don't throw in the towel. And Sammy grabs the towel and, like, throws it to the crowd. And Braun just looks at Foley and he goes, his blood is on your hands. And I'm like, fuck. That's, like, Braun's almost there. He's really green, and I feel like if you give him another year, he might actually be there.
And that's the scary thing, though, because what are you going to put in his path for another year?
That's the problem.
Like, it's such a weird weird position to be in.
You can't keep monsters booked like that for a sustainable amount of time.
And, like, eventually it's going to get to the point where he's going to need to have matches, like real matches.
Oops.
And he's not going to be able to have those because he's not that good. And, like, I'm one of the bigger proponents, or I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say, but I want him to succeed because we need more of those. Well, not necessarily more, but we need new giant guys. Mm-hmm. Now that we don't have a Taker, we don't have a Kain, we don't have a Big Show, even though they're still floating around.
Big Show just re-debuted on last night.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Like 70 pounds lighter.
Jesus, really?
He's okay. His legs still look like matchsticks, but he's in way better shape.
Yeah,
like much better shape.
That's good, man.
Yeah, because I mean,
I don't want to see him wrestle though.
No. You can tell this is probably like put him back in. Mm-hmm. Shaq might be at the Rumble,
right? And
then you have your Mania match, and that's when.
And I'd be cool with that.
Oh, I'd be so cool with that.
Yeah, like you need to have your little spectacle matches,
of course,
that are clearly not going to be good. You know what I mean? Like Big Show versus fucking Mayweather. Mm-hmm. Big Show versus. I
love watching
the sumo guy. I forget his actual name. But yeah, Big Show's been a lot of those.
I love the like the behind the scenes for like the build up to Big Show Mayweather.
Yeah,
because he was like, "All right, so on the go home, I need you to break my nose. I need you to punch me right in the nose, break my nose, and then I need you to run because I'm gonna be pissed."
You know,
and I'm like,
it really let you into like the mind that is Big Show.
Yeah,
you know, like it. I feel so bad that I gotta dislike these people, dislike seeing them because they're so good at what they do.
Big Show is extremely respectable.
Yeah, but it's like it's like I don't. Whenever I see him, it's no longer, oh, he's here to put over people, or he's here to, oh no, he's here to take somebody's momentum or anything like that. Whenever I see him, I'm like, oh no, it's the Big Show. Like he's no longer He's won too many times for me to feel comfortable with him coming back, but he's lost too many times for me to think that beating him is credible. Mm-hmm. And that's
he's a jobber to the stars.
Not his fault. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's really hard because Big Show used to be the super important dude, and now he's just like, oh great, it's the Big Show.
It's the Big Show. Anyways, back to the match. After throwing the towel, Braun charges Sammy, who then dodges, and Braun hits the turnbuckle post on the outside. They do this again down the side of the ring, but Sammy dodges, and Braun pretty much discombobulates the entire Timeskeeper area, which was actually cool, because it was like, oh, I didn't just break the barricade, I'm pretty sure I destroyed, like, actual merchandise. Yeah. And they get back inside, and he, posts himself a second time. Quick little guy, being too fast for a big lumbering giant. Anyways, he hasn't hit the ground yet, so Sammy hops on the ropes, gets to the top turnbuckle, and does a top rope crossbody, gets a 2 count, which, if I remember correctly, Braun was definitely looking at the referee the entire time, which is okay. He's greener.
I mean, he hasn't had to take too many pins.
He's greener than goose shit and can't fuck this one up.
Yeah.
With 10 seconds left, Sammy hits the haluva kick and goes to set up for a second one to knock Strowman down, but the bell rings and Sammy kind of wins.
Yeah. Sammy wins.
Yeah.
Question mark.
There was
exclamation.
It definitely dragged in the offense, but for the booking, it was 10-10 what it needed to be.
True.
Everyone looked good coming out of it.
Yeah.
Then we get to then we get to the rest of the pay-per-view, which sucks. So Chris Jericho versus Seth Rollins. This was a match. That's all I can say about it.
It is a match that happened.
It is a match that happened. Is literally the spots of every mediocre main event Seth match, plus the spots of every mediocre main event Jericho match. Way too many minutes go by where there's nothing going on that you wouldn't see on Raw.
Yeah.
A suicide dive, a blockbuster, Walls of Jericho spot. Commentary's totally snoozing away as well. None of them are particularly enthused about the action they are calling. Owens interferes, trying to help, but accidentally distracts the ref from Jericho, successfully small packaging Rollins, hits a pedigree and wins. Literally nothing of note happened during this match.
Yeah. It was literally just a setup for the main event. Yeah,
it was a setup for the main event. Seth's part of the story right now sucks, and it's kind of burying him.
Yeah, I mean, it's 100% because Triple H is not on TV,
and Triple H won't get on TV until he can put himself over.
Yes and no.
Well, yes and no, but
it's literally because fucking like football season.
Yeah. Football season, but that's the thing, is he doesn't want to be associated with bad ratings. He wants to show up on the good ratings.
Right.
Which I understand he'll eventually put talent over, but he's got to put himself over first.
I mean, he's fair enough. He wants to be there.
He's where he is for a reason, let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to be there when people will see it. Mm-hmm. And I get it. Like, if you're going to stretch out this meaningless feud, you might as well make it so that the part you're stretching out is where he's not actually involved, so that eventually when we get there, it might still feel okay. I understand because it hasn't been 6 months of Triple H versus Seth Rollins on TV.
Yeah, I understand also that this entire storyline was kind of last minute because Finn happened.
Yeah, that was a thing too. But
it's almost too easy to forget that Finn held the belt for like a week.
Was it a week or was it a day?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure it was a day.
Yeah, it was like a day.
Yeah, like he won it, and then the next night he had to relinquish it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
it was rough. Anyways, match sucked. I didn't care at all. There was no reason to care.
And like I feel bad for always bringing this up, but like whenever I watch Jericho not wrestling, whenever I watch him be entertaining, and even when I'm like just watching his podcast or listening to his podcast, he's amazing.
Oh, he's great.
He has not missed a beat ever.
He's one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers.
But it seems like, and I really hate saying this, but it feels like he can't have a good match anymore. Because, like, think about all the Jericho matches we've complained about. Like, Dean versus Jericho in that Asylum match.
I would like to say that neither person's at fault there.
You could say that, and there was like a great spot at the end there too, but that still counts. Fucking the biggest offender, I think, was it's a shame because it was his first feud in WWE, but Jericho versus Styles
at Mania, or just in general,
the entire feud.
Yeah, the entire feud wasn't great.
Was there, like, literally and we've said it before, at least I've said it before, AJ could have a great match with fucking anybody, especially on the WWE roster. Mm-hmm. But those Jericho matches,
they weren't fantastic.
They weren't that great. You know, and it wasn't even...
There were good parts to them. Some really good, like, as a whole, they weren't great, but there were some individual pieces that were amazing.
Yeah.
Like, Jericho did a springboard top rope kick when Styles does his, like, snap top rope 450. That was impeccable. Yeah. Jericho sold the calf crusher killer, whatever it's called now, like $1 million. Like, there were good parts to it, but as a whole, it didn't work.
And like, I can't really blame Jericho,
no,
but I don't know why either. Because it's not like Jericho is bad. It's not like he's lumbering around the ring, barely able to walk or anything like that. And I just, it's not like he doesn't know how to fucking do it because he's fucking Chris Jericho. I just don't understand. Maybe it's because, like, I'm jaded to his position on the card or something. Like a similar thing to the Big Show, where it's like, I know that there's not really going to be too much note here. But if we're going with that, then I wouldn't have liked the Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles matches either.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was going to happen there. AJ was going to get beaten. Roman was going to kick out of a million bajillion finishing moves.
Yep.
AJ is going to take one spear and that's it. You know, but they were still great matches.
They were great matches.
So I don't know. Is it just me? Like, do you?
No, because I feel like Seth versus Jericho. Like, how did one not pull a better match out of the other?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like both people went in just like, we don't care.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason either of those guys should have a mediocre bad match
with each other.
They're two like Jericho's a fucking ring general.
Yeah.
Like, Jericho is the guy that can usually pull a good match out of anybody.
Right.
And there's just like sometimes the synergy isn't there or something, or they're just put to a spot on the card where they don't care. They go out and just don't care.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah. Moving on, we have our cruiserweight death spot. Brian Kendrick versus TJ Perkins versus Rich Swann for the cruiserweight belts.
TJ Perky.
Was
this when Austin Aries was on commentary?
Yes, this was the best.
His debut on WWE.
Yeah,
he was on the commentary seat.
He's still working through injury, I think.
I know, but I just thought it was amazing.
Well,
I was like,
he did an amazing job on commentary. I'll let you.
Especially because he was putting himself over the whole time.
He's putting himself over so hard
because like he's not done yet. You know what I mean? So he's like, yeah, when I come back, I'm going to beat these guys.
It was like he's like Corey Graves is like, yeah, my broadcast colleagues, myself, Michael Cole, and the greatest man that ever lived, Austin Aries, and Austin Aries is like, I'm glad to be out here with the two greatest commentators in the world, Corey Graves and myself. I'm just like, oh, he gets it. He gets it.
Austin Aries.
And yeah, he was doing it the entire time.
One of my favorite guys when I was watching TNA. Because he literally did feel like the CM Punk of TNA back then. Back when, like, you know, because like they kind of wanted him to be, so they kind of fit him into that slot. But he was just one of those dudes that you can go out there, have an amazing match. Like, fucking, he's one of those small guys, but he's also kind of jacked too. So like,
he's really jacked. He's really small but really jacked.
Yeah.
There was a line where they're like, oh, Rich Swann almost, got the pin. He's like, yeah, Rich Swann would have made a really great champion, keeping the belt long enough for, when I return to take it. And just like, he's just putting him, like, he does it in a way where, like, he's not implicitly burying anyone that can't, survive it.
Yeah.
But also putting himself over, which is the best way possible.
Right.
So right off the bat, there's a heinous botch where Swann goes to jump over Kendrick, but ends up kneeing him directly in the fucking face. And there was like a quick pause of like, oh shit, and like Kendrick rolls to the outside to make sure his nose is still fucking on. Thankfully, since it's a triple threat, Swann just immediately goes to TJ, and this transition is smooth.
Yeah,
but it was
yeah, but like triple threat matches were made to save botches.
Yeah, go to the outside. We'll focus on something else.
Yeah.
There are some times where the lack of crowd heat is warranted, but these three are really trying their hardest, and for the most part, this match was pretty good. The action was super snappy, and there's lots of really big moves early on to try to entice the crowd.
Yeah.
Sadly, like TJ's Sunset Bomb or Swan's Double Frankensteiner just didn't get the reaction they deserved. Like, these were like big pop moves and nothing happened. They do a Captain Hook spot into a knee bar that kills the whole crowd with too much submission action, even if it was nicely timed in my opinion.
Well, what do I know?
I thought it was fine. Just the crowd went to complete crickets.
Yeah.
A second, much more fatal botch happens when Swan is in the knee bar and gets to the ropes. The ref starts counting TJ to break the hold, despite rope breaks not being in triple threat matches. Commentary kind of buries TJ for the botch, but it's totally the ref's fault because the ref started counting.
Yeah.
So TJ did nothing wrong. The ref is the one that fucked the whole damn thing up. It's an ugly mess all around. TJ and Swan double super kick Kendrick, and then Swan super kicks TJ for the win. The match wasn't terrible, but there were some really serious botches, and TJ took heat for something that wasn't his fault. Post-match, Neville comes out to congratulate Swan on the win, but instead he fucking murders everybody. The crowd totally wakes up. They love every second of Neville's attack. Hopefully they put the belt on him soon, and he makes the division worth a shit.
Yeah.
The crowd pops nonstop. They were dead silent. They popped for Neville, and then they started going crazy for all of his action.
Because people still love Neville, man.
Yeah, people... they just did dick all nothing with him. They tried their hardest to cool him off last year.
Even though I normally don't really agree with, the high flyer style... turning heel, because then it usually means they're going to get rid of that toolbox.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's been a little different in WWE recently, because Seth Rollins was doing crazy shit as a heel. AJ Styles is still doing crazy shit as a heel. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited that Neville's doing something.
I could see Neville being a heel and doing the same things, just harder and faster.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that, and it's kind of the reason why people were popping like crazy when fucking Ziggler turned not too long ago, because they're like, oh man, maybe this means he'll do something. Mm-hmm. Even though Ziggler ended up losing the next night to Kalisto, so it's fun times.
Charlotte versus Sasha Banks, Iron Woman match. Iron Maiden match.
Which they really should have just fucking called it.
I know, the Iron Maiden match.
The Iron Maiden match?
On.
Jeez. I feel like they're saving it for an actual Iron Maiden match where the goal is to trap your opponent in a bed of spikes. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they're going to go that far.
When they reboot WCW Halloween Havoc.
The Iron Maiden match. All women... multiple penetration.
The Rose Bagwell on top of a forklift match.
Judy Bagwell.
Yeah. That's it. This is the end of the line part for Roadblock End of the Line. This is the final Charlotte Sasha match, and I can't tell if it was overbooked or underbooked. I will say I laughed.
Oh yeah, I remember this fucking
I know.
Match.
This match.
Crying every time.
I think I've got a lot to say about this match and this feud by the time we're done. I will say I laughed way too hard when Sasha said, "Your daddy loves me more."
Because she's probably right. It's a lot harder to get away with molesting your daughter than it is molesting other women,
other wrestlers.
So I know Ric Flair would probably appreciate that a little more.
Yep. Although
we all know that Becky's his favorite.
Yeah, on-screen kissing. Yeah. There you go.
It's canon.
My ship has sailed.
Yeah, there you go.
The only spot that is of any worth within the first 20 fucking minutes of this match is that Charlotte trips Sasha on the apron and she sells hitting the steps face first.
Yeah.
Like a fucking feet. It looks like her head's taken clean off.
Yeah.
It's but she's totally fine. Really good. Other than that, the first 20 minutes go by and they hit each other with kind of big power moves and no one cares.
Yeah. I don't know how many Iron Man matches you've seen, but a lot of them are kind of that.
Yeah. I liked the Iron women match between Bayley and Sasha a lot more because it felt like it had better act. Like, I understand that the first 10 minutes are literally nothing. Yeah. The first 15 minutes might be literally nothing. But this went like 20...
Was this one 30 minutes too?
This was 30 minutes. Okay. Like, nearly 20 minutes goes by before the first pinfall, and the audience is just taken out of it.
Like, I remember thinking by the time that the 20 minutes were up and none of them scored a pinfall, I'm like, I want them to go with that. You know, like, make it so that, like, no one scores the pin.
Yeah. You have to go...
You have to go into sudden death overtime.
That's at that point, you kind of have to, because...
As soon as
you could have done this you could have started building to this finish at, like, the 15-minute mark. Yeah. And you would have had a much better match for it.
Yeah. Like, the second they actually started getting pins on each other and stuff, it's just like, now you kind of like made it less special because now it's like, all right, you're gonna get more pins in 10 minutes. Yeah, you know? Like, just go the rest of the match and do as much as I hated it, do the finish leading into sudden death. That's that you were planning. And actually, if they would have did it like that, it would have been better.
It would have been way better.
Honestly, skipping ahead here, they went into sudden death because Sasha ends up tapping out at like fucking the 2-second
mark.
point.
And I'm glad you're talking about this because I was going to bring it up too.
Yeah, like which completely makes her look like a fucking doofus.
Oh, she looks like a fucking
goof. She's sitting there looking at the clock. Everyone knows she can see the clock. It's fucking drowning in kayfabe. Like, it's obvious. She can't wait 2 more seconds.
She can't babyface pass out. You know, like,
because like passing out would have taken longer to check
exactly
than tapping out. Like, it's just, you know, you made her look like a doofus. She ends up bringing it to sudden death, and then she ends up losing anyway. So it's like, it would have just been better to have you go to sudden death, like, you know, have her be locked in the fucking figure 8 or figure 4, whatever it was at that point. Neither of them have a point. Fucking, like, she's in there, fucking 3, 2, 1, it's fucking over. You know, like, no one scored a point. She lasted however many fucking minutes in that submission hold, and the ref is like, there's gotta be a fucking winner, let's go into sudden death.
Yep.
Then you could have her lose if that's what you were going to do, and it would have made her look way better.
Yeah, this was kind of a burial of Sasha Banks, because it's booked in reverse, because normally you would want it the other way around, where the babyface is in dire need of that last pin, and the heel stuck in a submission hold, and the cowardly heel, who is kind of really not as good as they want to be, actually has to tap, and like the place explodes because like, oh, they tied it up, they're still in it, your plucky babyface is still alive. Instead, it's like, okay, your plucky heel is still alive, and your babyface is a fucking loser. Oh, I don't like this now.
It was,
oh no,
and it sucked because, like, other than that, the match wasn't that bad. Like, I found myself enjoying it until I fucking read the writing on the wall. Yeah, you know. And here's she's gonna fucking lose this one.
Here's the other thing that kind of really chaps my fucking hide about this match. Like, with 4 minutes left in the first half an hour Iron Man block, Charlotte starts working over Sasha's leg. Yeah. I'm like, you couldn't have done this at like 15 minutes in, 10 minutes in.
It's hard because she keeps moving her leg.
Like, you could have maybe added the storyline element to this match maybe 10 minutes ago, and you would have had something. Like, they had a match that on paper would have worked if they spread it out a little bit longer, and they put all the good stuff at like 10 minutes past, when they didn't need to. Like, you could have spread this out and made this a much better match, but they kind of fucked it up. Anyways, so ref has to reinstate the match to overtime. JoJo even botches her line calling the fall. Yeah.
Poor JoJo.
Poor JoJo. Sasha's selling like death, head over knee, and somehow busts her nose up mega royally on a fallaway slam. She's bleeding from the mouth everywhere. Sasha gets...
Which was not bad.
No, it was good.
I appreciated the blood.
Yeah. Sasha gets a feeble bank statement that Charlotte painfully reverses into a figure 4 plus another 4 for the figure 8.
Yeah.
This fucking sucked.
Yeah.
It's like bank statement reversal in like the most old people fucking looking way. It was.
I don't remember the actual reversal.
That's the problem. Me neither, because it was so slow and like choppy that you're kind of like, how is this happening? Oh, I guess we're in a figure 4 now. Charlotte wins in overtime. Thank God this feud is done. I feel like this feud was meant to elevate women's wrestling, and in a sense it got it done. But when you look back at all these like big stipulation matches that Charlotte and Sasha worked, they were like 6 out of 10s at best.
Yeah.
Like the spotlight was theirs for the taking on like this match and like the cell match.
I really just feel like most of that comes from the endings.
Yeah, they were really bad endings.
If they just did not want Charlotte to lose on pay-per-view. She's still undefeated on pay-per-view. And
like 14-1 now or some shit.
You know, like you could have had them fucking hot potato the belts between each other and everything. Mm-hmm. But whenever the pay-per-view rolls around, if Charlotte wins, it's fucking dumb. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it feels like, especially for me, because I don't watch the shows. I usually just watch the pay-per-views. So it's like, I'll see the pay-per-view. It's like, oh, Charlotte won. Ooh. And then to find out, like, oh, look, fucking Sasha beat Charlotte for the title on a random episode of Raw again.
Again.
It's like, oh, what? And then fucking she loses at the pay-per-view, wins the belt back on a random episode of Raw, loses the pay-per-view, and it's stupid. It's dumb.
It was really... like, this was the feud for the babyface to win, and instead it was...
And she didn't.
It was booked to make the heel look like somewhat not invincible.
And like it's really kind of hard to watch matches with Charlotte in it when this is a thing, like a fucking pay-per-view streak, because it's like they're trying to force it really bad, and it's really kind of hurting her run in general, because again it's like she keeps losing on shows and then winning on the pay-per-view. So what is even the point? It would have been a lot better and more effective to have like fucking, Charlotte starts off with the belt. She beats fucking Sasha at one pay-per-view. Sasha wins on the next pay-per-view. Maybe she wins the next pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. Fucking Charlotte gets a fucking last chance rematch, wins on that pay-per-view. So then Sasha's got her rematch clause. Fucking loses that pay-per-view. Maybe she wins the next pay-per-view. Because they stretched it out like fucking 10 months.
Yeah.
So it's like the fact that we got to see Charlotte lose on Raw and then win on the pay-per-view fucking like 9 pay-per-view straight is dumb. And at that point you're uninvested. You're like, I'd rather this just be over at this point.
That's how I felt. I felt relief that this feud was over.
Yeah.
It went stale.
Now we have to deal with Charlotte and Bayley. And it's like, is Bayley going to fare any better?
I hope they give it to Bayley at Mania.
Maybe, but they're feuding now, so what do they do until Mania?
I don't know, dude.
Although, I guess... No, they're still having a pay-per-view between Rumble and Mania, right? Raw is, at least? Because I know fucking SmackDown is. Mm-hmm. Elimination Chamber is SmackDown exclusive this year.
That's right. So, Raw probably has Fastlane.
Didn't they already have Fastlane?
Yeah, they had Fastlane last year between... No. Wasn't Fastlane after Mania last year?
I think so.
Shit, you think you're right.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Which defeats the entire purpose of Fastlane.
I know. It defeated the entire purpose of Roadblock, too.
Oh, God.
Because Roadblock was a joke about Fastlane.
Roadblock is the roadblock in the road to WrestleMania, which we haven't started yet because we're not doing the Rumble.
It was a roadblock on the Fastlane on the road to WrestleMania.
And then they fuck up the joke. Whoever was too clever for creative got fired. Anyways, the main event for the night is Owens Kevin versus Reigns Roman.
Reigns Roman.
Owens' Universal belt is on the line. Roman's United States belt that he's not even like using isn't.
Yeah.
Pretty basic and plotting start to the match, but you know this really isn't gonna go anywhere too big until Jericho comes in.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what's going on here. That said, Owens and Reigns put on a very good match that at that bigger power man wrestling speed. Yeah. Like, really, really played up to Roman's strengths, and I think he looked really good in this match. Nice, perfectly serviceable, big man main event match that the crowd was more than alive for, but nothing is super amazing that or that much better than a Raw main event. We did get a bullfrog splash on Roman on the announce table, which didn't budge the table an inch. So Owens marches back up on top of the barricade in an especially determined manner to do it a second time.
Yeah.
Owens attempts to get himself disqualified by striking Reigns with the belt, but eats a spear instead. Jericho walks down and contemplates what to do before code breakering Owens, giving Owens a DQ win and thus retaining the belt. Jericho gives the belt back to Owens, as it was all a work.
Yeah. I think this is probably the best moment of the night, as far as, like, you know, probably the best way they could have ended this.
Yeah, honestly. Seth comes down post-match as Jericho walks off, and both Shield members beat the hells into oblivion. While not a spot fest, it was really good old-school wrestling match that the crowd was 100% behind, and it made it a whole hell of a lot better.
Yeah. All in all, not the worst main event you could have had.
No. It was surprisingly good, considering how much the rest of the card kind of sucked when they needed to.
Yeah, not too bad. Like, honestly, at this point, if Reigns were to get the title, it wouldn't bother me too much.
He could probably hold his own at this point.
Like, especially since we've got another belt,
yeah.
You know? So it's like, you know, I guess as long as Reigns isn't the one fucking main eventing like, WrestleMania and shit.
Again.
You know, like, it wouldn't bother me a whole lot. Because you know they want to put it back on him.
I know. Well, it's obvious. And it means he's either winning the Rumble or he's going to main event Mania, and you're just like, stop.
I don't want him to win the Rumble. But
He's done enough damage for the Rumble.
Yeah, I'd be cool with him winning the belt at the Rumble.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that, too.
Because he does have that match coming up.
I feel like he'll probably win it there.
So that's fine. I'm more worried about John Cena beating AJ at the Rumble, honestly.
Like,
Could you imagine if both happened in one night?
It'd be wild.
It would be the greatest moment in wrestling history, according to WWE. setting up fucking John Cena versus Roman Reigns, champion versus champion at WrestleMania. The passing of the torch. Yo, screen cap this.
Stop. Alright, that's it for us on this episode. We have finished up the pay-per-views for 2016, so time for the best part of the year, the end-of-year reward show.
Yeah.
Catch us next time here on this channel as we go through our awards and disses, miss awards, shit awards.
Our Razzies.
Our Razzies and our Slammies.
Our Randy.
Randy.
Randy Orton.
I need to like soundbite that and add it in. Our Randy Orton. Alright, catch us next time.
Boy.